You had a friend named Tom. Everybody did. He was there the second you signed up, that smiling guy glancing back over his shoulder at his computer, your very first friend, automatically, on the biggest website on earth. And in 2006, that website was bigger than Google, more visited than any site in America. 100 million people building glittering, blinking, music-blasting little shrines to themselves. 1 year before that, the most powerful media baron alive, Rupert Murdoch, wrote a check for $580 million to own it. 6 years later, he sold it for 35. That is not a typo. 580 million in, 35 million out. In the time it takes to get a kid through high school, Rupert Murdoch turned the most popular website on the planet into a rounding error. This is the story of MySpace, the party the whole internet showed up to, and the landlord who turned it into a billboard and cleared the room. This is Flatline, where every week I pull one dead company up onto the table and tell you what actually stopped its heart. Tonight the sheet comes back on MySpace. And the real cause of death is not the one you've been told. Let me take you back, because you have to understand how big this thing was before you can understand how hard it fell. MySpace launched in 2003, out of a Los Angeles marketing company, built in a matter of weeks by a guy named Tom Anderson and his boss, Chris DeWolf. And it did something no website had really done before. It let you make your corner of the internet yours. You could tear your profile apart and rebuild it, background images, sparkling glitter text, a song that blasted at whoever was unlucky enough to land on your page. It was loud, it was ugly, it was gloriously, chaotically personal. And it had the top 8, the 8 friends you pinned to the front of your profile, ranked for everyone to see. Entire friendships lived and died over who made somebody's top 8. It was the first time a computer let millions of teenagers perform themselves for an audience, and they went absolutely feral for it. And the music. This is the part people forget. MySpace was where bands lived. Before Spotify, before SoundCloud. If you were an unsigned act, you got a MySpace page, and you uploaded your songs, and kids found you. The Arctic Monkeys, Lily Allen, Colby Kayak, careers detonated out of that site. For a few glorious years, MySpace wasn't a website. It was the culture. By the summer of 2006, it had passed Google as the single most visited website in the United States. Think about that. Not most visited social network. Most visited site, full stop. Everybody who mattered was on it, and standing at the front door greeting every single one of them was Tom. Smiling, harmless, your friend by default. So how does the most popular website on the planet end up as a punchline you haven't logged into in 15 years? The comfortable answer, the one you already have loaded, is one word: Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg built something cleaner. MySpace was messy, the kids moved on. And that is not wrong. But it is the lazy last page of the report, and it skips the part where the patient was already bleeding out before Facebook ever laid a finger on it. Because MySpace did not lose. Because Facebook was prettier. MySpace lost because, at the exact moment it should have been building a better product, it got sold to people who did not want a product. They wanted an audience to sell. Here is what actually happened. The thing that mattered. In 2005, Rupert Murdoch's News Corp, an old media empire built on newspapers and television and Fox, looked at MySpace and saw 100 million pairs of young eyeballs it did not yet own. So it bought them for $580 million. And News Corp did not run MySpace like a technology company. It ran it like a TV channel. Its whole instinct was advertising. Fill the space, sell the inventory, get the pages in front of as many eyeballs as humanly possible, and rent every inch of them to advertisers. Then, in 2006, they signed a deal that quietly loaded the gun. News Corp struck a $900 million agreement to let Google run the search and the ads across MySpace, but that money came chained to traffic and revenue targets the site now had to hit. Suddenly MySpace wasn't trying to be good. It was trying to make quota. And the only lever it knew how to pull was more ads. More banners, more pop-ups, more flashing, screaming, page-choking advertising crammed into every gap, until the site that had felt like your bedroom wall started to feel like standing in the middle of Times Square with somebody yelling car insurance in your face. And that is the whole autopsy, right there. While News Corp was strip mining MySpace for ad rent, a company down in Palo Alto was doing the one thing MySpace had stopped doing: building. Facebook was clean. It loaded fast. It made you use your real name, so it felt like actual people instead of anonymous glitter avatars. And then it shipped the newsfeed, a single quiet river of everything your friends were doing, and it turned out that was the thing everybody actually wanted. MySpace couldn't answer it, because MySpace's code was a swamp. Years of features bolted onto features, an engineering team drowning under a media company that thought software was something you just ordered more of. The site was slow. It was buggy. It was riddled with spam accounts, and, frankly, with predators. And News Corp's answer to all of it was to keep selling ads against the wreckage. They optimized the page views right up until the moment there were no page views left to optimize. So let's call the time of death. And like most of these, it came as a slow bleed, not a bang. Facebook passed MySpace in worldwide traffic in April 2008, and in the home market a year after that, and once that line crossed, it never, ever came back. The users didn't storm out. They just drifted, stopped logging in, stopped updating, left their glittering profiles frozen mid-sentence, like a house everyone walked out of without turning off the lights. By 2011, News Corp had seen enough. The company it had paid $580 million for, it sold to an ad tech outfit called Specific Media for around $35 million, with a familiar face, Justin Timberlake, buying a stake and promising a grand relaunch that never really landed. A $545 million hole, and the most popular website in the world, handed off like a couch nobody wanted to move. And the cruelest coda came years later. In 2019, a botched server migration silently deleted 12 years of music. Every song millions of bands had uploaded between 2003 and 2015, gone, the one irreplaceable thing the site ever held. The party wasn't just over. Somebody had bulldozed the building. Now for the finding, the one line I'd write on the certificate. It is not killed by Facebook. Cross that out. What killed MySpace is that its owners confused an audience with a business. News Corp bought 100 million people who genuinely loved a place, and instead of making that place better, it treated those people as inventory. Pure attention to be packaged and rented by the banner, until the loudest thing on the site wasn't the users anymore, it was the ads. It optimized for eyeballs, and forgot the eyeballs were attached to human beings who could, at any moment, simply get up and go to a quieter room. And that is exactly what they did. So here's the scar to keep. Your users are not your product. They are the reason you have one. The second you start treating the people who love you as an audience to be monetized instead of a community to be served, you have already started the countdown, no matter how big the number on the door still looks. We've had a few of these up on the table now. Kodak clutched its film. Blockbuster clung to its late fees. Nokia married its keyboard. BlackBerry fell in love with being right. Toys R Us got bled dry by its owners. And MySpace got everyone in the world to show up to the same party, and then let a billboard company charge admission until everybody quietly went home. Tom's still your friend. He never logged off. It's the company that owned him that flatlined. See you on the next table.